Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the recent controversy between India and Iran on the issue of the Chabahar port project. In my view, the Chabahar port project is very important from the examination point of view, both the prelims as well as the mains. So the objective of this lecture is to discuss the entire spectrum of Chabahar diplomacy, to cover this in detail, the factual information as well as the analytical information on this particular topic. And this topic of this video of 15 to 20 minutes should be the one-stop solution for all your issues on the Chabahar port project. In fact, at the end of the lecture, I have put certain questions for you to attempt and practice for answer writing, which you can post on my Telegram channel. That is, the link is given over here, and I will also post it on my description box that is there. Now coming back to the issue of Chabahar diplomacy. So Chabahar diplomacy is basically centered around the port in Chabahar, that is Iran. So it starts in the year 2003 when India and Iran agree to develop this port. India and Iran would develop this port of Chabahar. When Prime Minister Modi comes into the picture, he also laid lot of emphasis on the development of the Chabahar port project. But now we are in 2020 and Iran gave out a statement in which it said that India will no longer be part of the Chabahar port project. And instead, it will collaborate with China. So this is the entire controversy that has been going around in the recent times as to why Iran has shelved India from the Chabahar port project. Now we'll just have an overview of it, this particular topic. So the first question that arises, as when I told you all these points, the first question that arises is, what is Chabahar port and why India and Iran came to an agreement on this project? Chabahar, why? Why a country like India, which has limited resources, whose own ports are being criticized, the infra of the Indian ports are being criticized that they are not adequate. It is taking the support of Colombo and other Asian countries for the supply of large ships and the cargo that is coming. Why is India so deeply involved in the Chabahar port project? So that's the first question. Definitely this is because there are some strategic implications, strategic benefits which India wants to gain out of it. Now, if there are strategic significance of this, and India has invested number of resources, then why are we facing a situation that this project is not yet complete? From 2003 to 2020, it's a long time. It's almost 2 decades, and yet the project has not come to life. So what are the reasons for it? Or in other words, what are the constraints that the countries face, specifically India? Now, since Iran has said that India is no longer part of the Chabahar port project, if India is no longer part of the Chabahar port project, it means India needs to take certain corrective measures. Some proactive diplomacy is required as of now. So, what course of action or measures must India take as of now? So all of this we are going to discuss in a particular class, and during the course of time I'll be telling you about the important facts which are important for prelims. So just stay tuned. Yes. So you can see in the diagram over here. So this is how the Chabahar project looks like. So this red dot represents the Chabahar port. So it's basically a connectivity project which will be providing linkage or access to the Indian ships. So the Indian ports will be connected via the Chabahar port. From here, a rail project will be connecting the Chabahar with Zahedan. So Zahedan, as you can see, it is bordered between Afghanistan and Iran. So this is Afghanistan and Iran. So this rail project was to be developed by Indian Railways. In fact, a subsidiary of Indian Railways, which is known as IRCON. So they will be developing this project. And from here, it seems very clear that this will be connecting to the interiors of Afghanistan. So we get an access to Afghanistan through this particular project. So this is the whole game of this particular Chabahar diplomacy over here. And from Afghanistan, you can move upwards and upwards. There is no end to it. Now you can see it's a connectivity project over here. But if one looks closely, a question arises as to why can't India go from a more direct route? A more simpler or a more easier route would be via Pakistan. But the problem arises that Pakistan says that we are not going to provide access to India. Pakistan will not provide access to India. In fact, India has made number of initiatives so that India can get connected to Afghanistan. But they don't agree to it. So one example I can give you is there is an Afghan-Pakistan transit agreement. So India tried to link it with the SAARC motor vehicle agreement. SAARC countries, all the SAARC countries, including Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, all these SAARC countries will be connected. So de facto, India will get access to the transit or to the route of Afghanistan, but Pakistan denied. So Pakistan never became part of this. So SAARC motor vehicle agreement, again, a part of your prelims. So this is just one example that I'm giving you. And if you look closely over here, Kashmir is connected to Afghanistan, right? It is sharing its borders with Afghanistan also. And to some extent, all maps do not capture everything with accuracy, but it is connected with Tajikistan also. This is Tajikistan over here. So Tajikistan is also there. But because this territory is claimed by Pakistan, that is via Pakistan occupied Kashmir, this territory is occupied by Pakistan over here. Therefore, we do not get access from this route also. So being fed up of this attitude of Pakistan, India decided that, keeping in mind the strategic interest, India decided that it will look at an alternative route. So this route goes via Iran and then Afghanistan and likewise. In fact, think of it, it is also part of India's extended neighborhood policy. That is India looking to have a greater regional heft in this particular, in the region also. Not just in the immediate neighborhood, but also in the extended neighborhood. So Iran, Afghanistan, it is all extended neighborhood. So now coming to the strategic importance, basically the points over here. So the first thing I said was it is an alternative route. Because of the objections of Pakistan, it is an alternative route. To where? To Afghanistan. So the next point is Afghanistan. So let me just draw it over here. So let's say a ship is going from Kandla. It reaches Chabahar. From Chabahar to Zahedan and then Afghanistan. Why so much importance to Afghanistan? The question arises, why does India want access to Afghanistan? Right? So we have to elaborate an answer at the end of it. Afghanistan, because India has number of strategic interests with Afghanistan. For starters, Afghanistan acts as the gateway to Central Asia. This is Afghanistan over here, and it is acting as the gateway. It is connecting most of the Central Asian countries over here, except Kazakhstan, of course. You can see over here. So it's considered as the gateway to Central Asia, Afghanistan. So it provides that strategic advantage to India if it is connected over here. And now coming more specifically to Afghanistan, ever since the war, the US war of 2001, US-Afghan war, India has been investing in the reconstruction of Afghanistan. India has been making school, project buildings like Parliament, Selma Dam, etc. India also wants access to natural resources. This particular region, Afghanistan and the Central Asian countries, are very rich in natural resources. In Afghanistan, there is something known as Hajigak mines, Hajigak iron mines, which India has one bid. That is, India will get access to the iron ore from here. But India cannot get the iron ore, it is something very heavy. It cannot move via air. So, this is the best route for the supply of mines and minerals to India. So, that is the significance if one looks very specifically to Afghanistan. And obviously, if there is development in Afghanistan, also the issue of terrorism and the security concerns that are there, that can also be addressed. Specifically, India's concern of the rising Taliban power in the region. So we did 2 points right now. We did Pakistan, we did Afghanistan. And briefly, I touched upon the issue of Central Asia. In 2015, India came out with a document known as the Connect Central Asia Policy. Obviously, the Chabahar project is connecting India to Central Asia. So in this, it connected that yes, in 2015, that it came out with a paper, white paper, in which it said that these are our interests, these are our focus areas in Central Asia. It talked about greater engagement between India and Central Asia. Now, if you look at the map over here, there is no way by which India can be connected to Central Asia right now. There is this China on the east, north is Russia. There's simply no way. So Chabahar port acts as a direct conduit between India and Central Asia. So this is there. And it is not just about reaching there, of connecting, getting your trucks, etc. It's about trade. It's about access to the natural resources, access to the nuclear fuel that is available. Nuclear fuel, natural gas, pipelines, all those projects. So all those possibilities emerge as a result of the Chabahar port project. That was not possible before, but now it seems possible because of the Chabahar port project. So that is the significance. And there is one more significance of this particular thing. If basically US also wants this, it wants that India should be deeply involved in the affairs of Afghanistan and Central Asia. It should have greater engagement in these countries which otherwise have been ignored in the past. It will provide a face of a soft power. Presently, it is being dominated by China. Here you can see over here, it is China over here, and here it is Russia. So this will provide the access to India. It will provide them access or, a connectivity with the values or ideological values of democracy and a connection with the soft power of India. So which the US also favors. And anyways, it acts as a counterbalance to China in the region. So that is one interest that USA also has, India definitely has. So the point 3 is done. Point number 4. So we are connected to Central Asia right now. So let's take this arrow to Central Asia and we are connected. If we connect to Central Asia, we can do it other ways also. There are many, Chabahar project is not the only way of connecting to Central Asia and northwards. In fact, there are other arrangements also, such as the International North-South Transport Corridor. So you can look over here. So this is the proposed corridor between India and Russia, Europe. So you can see over here, it starts from Bombay, it reaches the city of Iran and moves northwards. So if one sees closely, this can be connected with the Chabahar project also. The Chabahar project can be connected over here. So an offshoot of the International North-South Transport Corridor can be this Chabahar project also over here. So these are the countries. This is the thing that you should know for prelims. What is the International North-South Transport Corridor? Which are the countries associated with it? The map question that can be asked. So you should always have an atlas with you. and the north country, the south country, those things you should know over here. So one is this, the north-south transport corridor, and likewise there is something known as Ashgabat Agreement and Lapis Lazuli Corridor. So we'll just have a look at that. So this was the north-south transport corridor, and then there is this Ashgabat Agreement. Ashgabat Agreement is a multimodal transport agreement. Multimodal transport means rail, road, shipping, etc., which connects Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, India, and Oman. So these countries, these are important for your prelims. Fine. So it's a connectivity project which is linking these countries together. The purpose is transportation of goods between Central Asia and Persian Gulf. So this is the Persian Gulf, Iran ke paas mein jo hai. So this is the Persian Gulf. So connecting the south to Central Asia over here. So this is known as Ashgabat Agreement. It derives its name from the capital of Turkmenistan, which is known as Ashgabat, and India became a member of this in February 2018. So this is very recent, and therefore it can be important for your prelims also. And this is the Lapis Lazuli corridor. Lapis Lazuli is basically a blue kind of stone, if you have studied the chapter on Harappas. So Lapis Lazuli is basically a stone that used to be there, and it was a luxury commodity at that point of time. So it had huge demand in different parts, specifically Europe. So it's known by that name, Lapis Lazuli, but basically it's a transport corridor which is connecting Afghanistan to Europe via different Central Asian countries, West Asian and Central Asian countries. So Lapis Lazuli corridor. So obviously the Chabahar project, like this is the Chabahar project, it goes into Kabul. So this can be connected to this also. So you can see the strategic game that is associated with the Chabahar port project. Lastly, we are looking at the China angle also. That is, it is seen as a counter to the proposed project of China, which is known as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Basically, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is an offshoot of the China's Belt and Road Initiative. So Belt and Road Initiative is a transport corridor which is which is led by the Chinese side, and it will be connecting east of China, that is the end of China, eastern end, to the western end of Europe. And through this, to the belt, and this will be connected via India's Pakistan occupied Kashmir, south to the Pakistan port of Gwadar, which is very close to the Chabahar of Iran. In fact, this has been asked in the prelims. Gwadar and Chabahar have been asked in the prelims. They are in which country, and options were given. So you can see how close these particular projects are. This is the Belt and Road Initiative that is going, and this is the Chabahar project over here. So can we say that the Chabahar project is a counter to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor? And in the larger scheme of things, it is a counter to the Belt and Road Initiative. To me, it seems it is so. And if it is a counter to it, definitely other countries, specifically those who do not like China, for example, the USA, would look to invest greater in this particular project. They would like to see an alternative front to the China's Belt and Road Initiative. And not just these countries, even the Central Asian countries would want something similar, because everybody wants a backup of sorts. So this is all about the strategic importance it has. I mean, basically what I've done is I've put it in a logical way, from like in a series of things, and I have clubbed all the points together over here. So this is it. Please have a look at this in the later. You can just pause and try to memorize these countries, have a look on the atlas on this particular topic, and this is all you need to know for the prelims, nothing more than that. Ashgabat Agreement, Lapis Lazuli Corridor is connecting which countries, like that. Nothing more. Prelims is very easy actually. Okay. Now the thing that I said in the first slide, that is, why are there roadblocks? Why did it take so long, 2003 and 2020, and yet the Chabahar port project has not come through? Recently, Iran has said that India is no more part of this particular project. So let's see what different sides have to say, and we'll just collate it for the concerns. That's all. The bottlenecks or the constraints that are there with respect to India's partnership on Chabahar project. So let's say what Iran says, and that becomes point number one over here. So the first thing is that Iran in July 2020 decided to drop India from the strategic Chabahar railway project. And it said that it is basically that they are dissatisfied in India's cooperation on this particular project. So be it in terms of funding or in terms of the operational delays that are there, red tapeism, etc. So they have cited number of reasons as per which they said that we do not want to partner with India. So that is there over here. So why is India so slow over here? India in generally has a reputation of being slow, but why so slow? India says, India has countered this particular thing, that we have concerns over this project. And it is not because of our actions, it's because of other factors because of which the port has not been developed. And the number one amongst them is the US-Iran tensions. US-Iran tensions. Now USA comes into the picture. So basically the thing is that Iran is under sanctions. US sanctions. So just put the map only. USA says that any country that trades with Iran will also face US sanctions. So US is one of the largest countries in the world, the most powerful country. If US says that you cannot trade with Iran, it makes it very difficult for other countries to trade. And India, no matter what, it's very difficult for it to take a stand over here. India didn't partner with it, Iran. It is making this case, it is negotiating with US, etc. But still, it makes it very difficult for India to invest in Iran or be very proactive on this particular thing because of the US pressure. So one is this thing, sanctions. And why are these sanctions over here? It's one of the reasons is USA believes that basically what happened was Iran was having a nuclear program. It was investing in nuclear resources, and it was believed that this nuclear resources will be utilized for making weapons program, nuclear weapons program. So they will prepare the nuke bombs, and it will provide instability across the region because all these West Asian countries keep fighting amongst themselves. Iran with Arabia, Iran with Israel, all these countries, they keep having some tensions or the other. So if Iran becomes a nuclear power, that is a weapons power, then in that case it becomes a very difficult situation for the world. So Iran, US and Iran came to a nuclear deal, but under Donald Trump believes that Iran is not doing its part in fulfilling the promise. Iran agreed that it will remove all the nuclear program that it has, or whatever objections that US has, on the conditions that the sanctions are gone. So this whatever happened, and the deal didn't work through actually. So the nuclear deal did not work through. And then most recently there was this assassination of a Iranian general by the US known as General Soleimani. So this happened basically. Now I am not putting so much emphasis on this because we will not be able to write it in an answer over here. But yes, we need to know that there is a sanction between US and Iran, which makes it difficult for India to invest in Iran, especially the Chabahar port project. In fact, even the fuel also which we get from Iran is very difficult now. So this situation is there, US-Iran tensions. We also have a new development in the recent times where India is seen to be getting more and more aligned with the USA. India is leaning towards USA for different reasons, be it in terms of defense cooperation, be it in terms of the Pulwama attack, designating Masoor Azad as Masood Azhar as the global terrorist, UN designated terrorist, or be it in terms of the assertive China, be it Ladakh issue or the South China Sea, India is looking at US for some sort of support. Now, if US is supporting India, then India will have to agree to certain conditions of USA also. So that makes it very difficult for India at this point of time. India has to decide that should it be partnering with Iran, USA, with Iran, and should it partner with the Chabahar project and other things which will go against the US sanctions, or what it should do actually. So there's a concern over here. So in all of this confusion that is there is a country which is very opportunist, which is taking a lot of sees an opportunity over there, and this is known as China. China says, Iran, don't worry, we'll partner. I don't care about the US. China really doesn't care about it. Has concerns, but it is actually confronting US on a number of fronts, trade policy or the South China Sea. So they are anyways in opposition. China says, I have a lot of money. China says that it has experience in the development of the railway projects and adherence of timelines. They are already building the Belt and Road Initiative, so the Chabahar can be connected with the Belt and Road Initiative. They are also interested in the natural resources of the Central Asia and Iran. So this is what they are looking at. And China is trying to seize this opportunity over here. So China is a new angle that has come about. So the first thing is, let me just sum up again, Iran issue. Iran says India is delaying it. India says that is the US-Iran relations. Then India leaning towards the US. And lastly, it is the opportunist China over here. So these are the concerns over here. So now definitely India needs to do something about it. But before that, India has to address the paradox situation in which it is. The paradox, I mean, India has to take a side between the US and Iran. What should it do? Should it side with Iran, keeping in mind the regional interests, the strategic interests, or should it side with US? It is being asked to make a choice over here. To be really honest, India cannot afford either of them. It cannot lose Iran, it cannot lose US. So it has to do something about it. So you can just start by writing a line on this particular thing about the paradox and India can ill afford, and then start with your points over here. So the first point is, the first thing that India needs to do now is it should proactively engage with Iran. Iran has said that Indian side is not fulfilling its commitments, be it on terms of financing or the project requirements, whatever they are. India is not fulfilling it. So it should proactively engage with Iran. Whatever the concerns, whatever the differences both countries have, should be addressed proactively. So that is the first thing. Secondly, it should engage with US, because US is one of the major reasons over here. So it should engage with the US. It should tell them that it is not a zero-sum game. Zero-sum game means it is not a situation in which the victory of one side will be the loss of the other. In fact, it can be so that if Iran wins because of the Chabahar project, so does US also gain. Because let's say the US has number of advantages to it. The connectivity project that is there with respect to the Chabahar will provide the US access to the resources of provide resources to the Afghan troops, the development of the mines and minerals that is taking place, and so in the Central Asia also. So it's providing an alternative front. It is also acting as a buffer or as a counterbalance of the Belt and Road Initiative, the Chinese influence in that particular region. It is also acting as a different front of democracy and different ideology that can be presented to the Central Asian countries. So there are so many benefits that the US can get. So Indian side must try to convince the US on getting exemptions, at least for the Chabahar port project. And who knows, maybe India should be proactive, use its good relations with Iran and USA for better relations among these two countries. So that can solve a lot of things for the region, the countries, the region, and the world. So it's not a zero sum game. Now the last point is that why just USA? Why only India? It's very difficult to match a country with the heft like China. China is so much larger in terms of economy, in terms of political influence. So India alone will find it very difficult. But what if it takes the support of like-minded countries? And by like-minded, I mean the countries which are opposed to the idea of increased influence of China over here. So I just sent it over here. So it's Japan and China relations are not too good. So they formed Japan. USA is there. Australia could be one country. So there are so many other countries. They can combine their resources and engage in developing an alternative front. So it can help in improving the Iran relations, in terms of lifting of sanctions and providing greater investment in that particular area. So all this can be done by this particular activity. So I hope all the points are clear to you over here. Fine. So this is all I have with respect to the analysis over here in this particular lecture. Now let's come to the questions part. So these are the 3 questions that I've framed before you. So just try to answer these questions. They are straightforward questions. So basically, in all the questions, you have to define the Chabahar Port Project or the Chabahar diplomacy in your own words. The strategic implications, the strategic and the security implications that India has, and then the concerns or the constraints which they're facing, and lastly, the steps that India must take. So I believe with the points that have already been presented, if you want with some external reading, it will be very easy for you to write these answers. So this is all I have in this particular lecture, and you can always share your answers on the Telegram group, and you're most welcome to engage with me on the comment section of the YouTube. And hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.